Hello and welcome back to Heroes on Fire in this best of 3 lower bracket semi-final between Mouse Control and Decima eSports. Mouse Control won the first game on Cursed Hollow. We are in now with the draft, waiting for the first ban out of Mouse Control. The map picked by Decima was Haunted Mines. And we'll see how they go. So the time pool's coming down here.
It's quite hard to predict what's going to happen on Haunted Mines because it's just not a map you see very often at all. It's definitely one of the maps that teams prefer not to play on more often than not. So who was it that chose Haunted Mines?
I believe it's Decima eSports who chose Haunted Mines, and Mouse Control ban out the Tassadar first. Interesting.
Yeah. Definitely a strong pick on Haunted Mines. The only hero I can think of off the top of my head that particularly shines.
Yeah, I'd say other than like ETC with his stage dive for globally going from the surface to the mines if he dies, and other than that maybe Brightwing. But then, Brightwing's not the most common pick support these days.
No, Tassadar is strong all the time, and he's particularly good on this map, because any golem below about, I think it's about 30 skulls-ish, basically won't out-damage Tassadar's shields. So it starts to get silly, especially if he decides to pick up the mule, which, don't know, sometimes players decide to do so, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, I very much like
taking
Mule on any hero that can on Haunted Mines and on Black Heart's Bay, just because you have those things that won't kill you straight away, and you can repair through them. So, and we might even see Tassadar pick up the shield, the extra, or rather, had he been picked, pick up the extra shielding on buildings to even delay that out. We get Decima ban out the Zeratul. They obviously don't want to go against that.
Interesting to see. They banned out Illidan last time, and so I guess they feel that on this map, Zeratul is a bigger factor than Illidan. I mean, I can kind of get behind that. Illidan definitely scales better into the late game, but then so does Zeratul. He's one of these heroes where his power spikes are later on in the game.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's an interesting ban choice. Maybe they've had bad experiences with Zeratul.
First pick out for Mouse Control on that Vala. Strong range assassin. I mean, not really needs to be discussed.
Nope. I think everything that could be said about Vala has already been said in the history of heroes.
Decima eSports respond with 2 quick picks on the Sergeant Hammer and the Tyrande. 2 unusual damage dealers. Tyrande getting a lot more traction and popularity of late, but that Hammer pick on, especially on Haunted Mines, not something you see often.
It can definitely be very, very, very powerful, particularly since teams tend to go 4-1 when they're lading on this map, and having a hammer in your 4-man lane really just makes it impossible for one person to try and defend against you. There is nothing you can do against a hammer with 3 buddies to protect her.
I mean, potentially the best thing to do with that is Tassadar with the extended Psionic Storm range, because you can cast a storm that hits the hammer when you're outside of the hammer range if you go for Psionic Storm range. But obviously we don't have
try something like a solo lane Stitches to try and just hook her into the tower is maybe the next best option.
And speaking of Stitches, here's the next pickup for Mouse Control.
Not too surprising. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see them send Stitches solo against the 4, because he has a very high kill potential against any number of people, because people get hooked into towers and they take quite a lot of damage, as well as Slam being able to put out a reasonable amount of damage.
Next pickup for Mouse Control was the Uther. Combos very well with the Stitches, the hook into the stun. As we saw last game from Mouse Control, that hook into the arrow, into the Lunar Flare rather, from Tyrande, who was picked up by Decima, maybe even as a deny pick instead of particularly wanting it themselves.
It's very possible, absolutely. Between that stun and the damage amp, and the vision from L, which, given not as big a factor on mines as it is on Cursed Hollow, all of those things together really did do a lot of work for Mouse Control, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the logic behind picking that up.
Oh yeah. Time pool running down a little bit for Decima, wondering what they'll pick up here. I mean, it's unlikely it's sort of unlikely, especially... actually, no, I was going to say it's unlikely to see a double support pickup for Mouse Control, but they have 2 picks next, and what if Mouse Control pick Rhaegar Illidan? They have a tank, they have a lot of damage, they've got stuns, and then they have that all-important 2 healer with Illidan.
That is true, that is still available. It is unusual that you'll see Illidan absolutely nowhere in sight. I mean, it does happen.
I mean,
then it's certainly an option available to them.
the pickup choices then that I was contemplating for Decima would be whether or not they pick up the support now, or they pick higher priority heroes and pick up Rhaegar last. Well, assuming that they were going to go for Rhaegar, which they did in the end, coupled with a very fast pickup of ETC.
That seems very reasonable.
As I mentioned at the start, with that stage dive potentially able to just jump across map into the mines if needed.
If you know a team is comfortable on double support, you don't really want to let them get Uther Rhaegar.
Oh yeah, because I mean, if one team gets Uther Rhaegar, you're left with Brightwing, Malfurion, Lily as your other supports, and Lily's not picked up often. Brightwing, we've been seeing more and more of her recently, but not nearly as much as we used to. She's not nearly as strong as she used to. She's a lot squishier. And Malfurion, whilst he's probably the strongest healer in the game pre-20, because Lily does absurd amounts.
Strongest in terms of healing numbers.
Oh yeah, healing numbers because overtime, because Tranquility, his big AoE, the passive heals from Wild Growth, all of that good stuff. He's he
doesn't quite have that oomph.
Like Uther with all those stuns and Rhaegar with that ancestral healing. Saying that though, we do get the Malfurion pick out for mouse control. Wonder if their last pick's going to be the Illidan.
For a while, Malfurion was dubbed the king of double support, because when your other support is given a constant stream of additional mana in the form of Innovate, it really does increase what they're able to do.
Oh yeah.
So it certainly can add a lot to it, and they do now have the big healing ultimate in the form of Tranquility to supplement the slightly less healing power that Uther normally has.
Yes, I mean, he does have 2 heals as far as his basic abilities, which no other healer per se has. Unless you talent, obviously, the Earth Shield on Rhaegar. But, yeah, he doesn't have a big healing ultimate which he can take, which we see every other support having. Obviously, Brightwing, Blink Hill, Rhaegar Ancestral, Lily, Jug of 1,000 Cuts, all that stuff. Last pick out of Jaina for mouse control.
Now, this is one I'm interested to see, because I like me some Jaina. I always enjoy watching Jaina. I enjoy playing Jaina.
You got her to level 10 recently, did you not?
I did, and I was happy. Master Skin is only about 6,000 gold away.
Only.
So, I was happy to see this, and it's definitely can be a strong pickup on this map, because Jaina can get in Venom.
Yes.
And in Venoms, often decide Haunted Mines games. It's not quite as strong as the comparison I'm going to make, but it's almost like when in early Sky Temple, when that map first came out, people would almost count mules, and you'd go, oh, they have 3 mules, I only have 1 mule, we're in for a rough game.
Yeah.
You can almost do that on Haunted Mines within Venoms, because that talent is absurd in the early game, and Haunted Mines is 80% early game and then a little bit afterwards, more often than not.
Yeah, Haunted Mines definitely being one of the quickest maps to play out.
Mm-hmm.
And because they've got double healer, having the 2 squishy people with the Jaina and the Vala with only 1 tank won't necessarily be too much of an issue, because, like I say, those double healer.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably see Healing Ward come out from Malfurion, and we'll definitely see the shield come out from Uther. Last pickup from Decima, they are going for that double tank with the single support and a pseudo support, and that long range damage. That last pickup of the Muradin tank.
Once again, we have a team with no assassins.
Yeah.
What is this world we live in now?
Yeah.
It's happening. No, they're comfortable with their double tank. That's what they like. Didn't quite work out for them last time, but they're going, hey, that was a one-off. It'll work again.
Yeah, I mean, the Chen pickup was questionable with the amount of stuns Mouse Control had last time, and obviously they felt it, and again, with Uther and Stitches on the opposing side, they think they're potentially taking Muradin, because Chen, again, with the amount of stuns, isn't as good as potentially having more stuns of your own in the form of that Muradin.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see whether or not he goes Haymaker, because I'd love to see Haymaker, but Avatar is much more likely.
I'd love to see it, but I'm not quite that hopeful, unfortunately.
Not convinced it's going to be a good pick.
No, I'll keep my fingers crossed, but we'll find out.
Okay. Now that the draft's over with, let's get into game number 2 of this best of 3 between Decima eSports and Mouse Control. Okay, and now starting out in this game 2 best of 3 series, we have Decima eSports again in blue here. We're going to have Leosa on the Muradin, Breathe No More on that Rhaegar, Black Drake playing the Tyrande this game, Scarlet Wolf on the Sergeant Hammer, and we're going to have Azalon on that ETC solo bottom.
Right, and then over on the red side we have Uther being played by Pradin, we have Vala being played by Griskel, Stitches by Razalat, Malfurion by Solid, and finally Jaina by Zinwin.
Yeah, she side straddles that little billy goat. Potentially see a Watchtower fight coming out here.
I'm intrigued to see, is there a plan to have the Jaina solo herself? Jaina's fine as a solo against 1 or 2 people, but I think you're going to have a hard time against 4.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the ETC solo for Decima, which is a much better solo in that regard.
Certainly going to have a hard time. If she even steps out from her walls, she could start to look like she's in a bit of trouble.
Finally picking up her level 1 talent. She's gone with Lingering Chill. It's the usual to see these, maybe. I forget, actually.
The standard tends to be honest, a lot of the talents are pretty reasonable at level 1 for Jaina. The most common is the increased slow amount. However, both the increased slow duration and Tundra's Pursuit tend to see play as well.
Good push out here from bottom. A tower already falling. Almost.
It's about the same up top. I think the tower's going to fall at a similar time. No, they managed to get that tower down, bottom down just before. But I think pretty much an even trade at the moment with how much damage is being done on either side.
No experience advantage for either team yet. We're going to actually see, interesting, not Conjurer's Pursuit out of the Uther, but Hammer of Justice damage.
Interesting. I guess
don't necessarily need Conjurer's Pursuit when you've got Innovate.
I guess so. I guess that's what it is. It's a trade-off of, yes, I won't have quite as much mana, but do I need it? Because someone's giving me mana. I have a personal Conjurer's Pursuit dispenser in the form of Malfurion, so I'll just go with damage instead.
Talking about not being able to do much damage, Zinwin did fall kind of low, but the Muradin almost died as a response. I mean, huge amount from the Blizzard and the Frostbolt and the Cone of Cold. A lot of burst damage.
If you don't respect it, the burst is definitely there.
The full wall gone here, up top.
And down bottom.
Yeah, Scarlet Wolf just doing a huge amount of damage with that Sergeant Hammer. The push bottom has been slightly more than the push top, though.
Alright, now, they are all ready to enter the mines up top. But Jaina is a bit split off from her team. It looks like she's thinking about going in top. That could be a bit dodgy. She'll be on the far other side. I'm not sure that's where she wants to be.
No skulls taken for Decima yet. We do have an engagement coming on here, though.
Well, the stun misses, but then the Malfurion is a bit caught out. It looks like he's body blocked in there. He's going to go down very, very quickly. They're looking to go on the Uther, try and get damage on him. Will they manage to take him out? No, it looks like he's walking away for the moment, but the Stitches, you are not in a good place. And Jaina, as thought, she gets caught out on the other side. She might go down. It's close. Looks like she's just about to get away, but no. The wraparound from the Sergeant Hammer. No chance she's going to get out of there. And they're going to pick off the Uther as well. Only 2 will get away from that. And this is huge.
Oh yeah. No, Uther tried to heal the Jaina with his Wave of Light, but he missed. He hit the hammer with it, but that's not going to do much when Jaina needed a little bit of health to survive, but they were probably both going to die anyway, or she was going to die. The Uther probably could have made the better decision to just run away and leave her since she was very low and wrap around what's happening.
Now, luckily they did manage to pick up a good number of skulls before that fight transpired and went not quite so well for them. So they're not going to be as big a disadvantage as they could be. I mean, we've all lost a lot of level 4 fights in mines that have resulted in very quick 6-minute losses, but this luckily isn't quite going to be one of those. They've managed to get enough, especially with those extra 5 skulls in there, and they've actually managed to force them back. They're going to get the rest of this golem.
Well, I mean, Decima took a really good fight there, but rather they were a bit low off the back of that, and they got a couple more skulls and left it as a relatively even golem, knowing that they can back off and actually get a hard camp to push out harder and even take their own giants. We might see this contested.
Oh, now it looks like there is going to be a fight over this. Malfurion runs in, tries to hold it, but no, he just gets knocked out. But Uther, he's standing his ground, he says, this is mine, but he's going to die for it, unfortunately. And it looks like Stitch is going to try the same thing. This isn't working out for you. Or is it? One goes down. Are they going to get the ETC? Yes, the Stitch dies at the same time. Wow, and 5 kills over the Knights.
Yeah, I mean, I expected the ETC to die much earlier there, but he stood his ground and he had so much healing, so much sustain coming out onto him. And coupled with the block, they just weren't able to drop him despite being stood there on such low health with everyone wailing on him. Both relatively even-sized golems. Giants now coming out for Decima to help defend against that, and likewise Mouse Control take their giants.
Both taking the giants a bit later than usual, but they'll both still be there to add some extra damage onto those golems, trying to get them down a little bit faster.
Yeah. We do see Mule come out for the Malfurion and the Tyrande on opposing teams.
Both looking to make advantage of that.
And Mule getting to work straight away on bottom. Gets picked up and killed quite quickly though.
No, I don't think it's going to be able to do anything to stop this keep falling, unfortunately, whether it's to the golem's hand or the rest of the team. Nope, it does fall down. So that's about all it's going to
Meanwhile,
get.
the Mule in top lane is doing some good work. Does eventually die, but has kept that fort at very high health.
With the Jaina solo defense, that's enough, but that keep has taken really not that much damage. That's going to be healed up in no time by the Mule, and it will be as if the golem was never there.
We see the full tank build coming out for that solo tank of the Stitches, the Chunyafu plus the amplified healing.
Everything else is more or less as you would expect. We do see the Envenom out of the Jaina. Interesting to see the Frost Armor. Now that is not a standard pick, but certainly an interesting one to see. Just gives that Jaina a little bit more survivability, something that she often can be lacking if you get caught out of position. Oh, but then there's a hook on the hammer, but he's not going to be able to be caught. So, the Muradin is going to have to be very careful. No, he is going to go down. The ETC was not quite quick enough diving in there to try and save him, unfortunately.
And
that's
we
going to give him
have
a bit of room.
Yeah, almost level 9 for Decima, but almost level 10 now on the side of Mouse Control.
So as soon as they hit level 10, they might be looking to try and push up top, see if they can force a fight under that keep, because there's not going to be a lot that can be done about it.
Speaking of which, Mule is... it was repairing the tower, but decided to go and repair that wall. I thought Blizzard helped the AI out, like they fixed it a little bit, but no. Good job.
They do all sorts of things.
Almost as good as the Nuvarax Beetle AI.
Now level 10 has been found there. Indeed, they're looking to push in on this keep because it's going to be very hard to defend against it when you do not have ultimates yourself. So this is almost certainly going to go down, especially with the help of those siege giants.
Water Elemental has been taken by the Jaina, and Malfurion took a long time to pick up the Tranquility. He was maybe thinking about going Twilight Bream.
Possible, and then there is a hook on the Muradin. Not the best hook target, unfortunately. He was just able to leap away. Nothing was really had. It's an interesting clairvoyant.
Yeah, Farsight.
Farsighted. Not entirely certain what they were spotting for, but I'm sure he had his reasons.
Now, Mouse Control enter top and Decima enter bottom. Level 10 for Decima has come out. The Starfall, the Ancestral, the Avatar, the Mosh Pit instead of stage side. All very good, lots of lockdown.
They're probably trying to take advantage of the little tight spaces that can be found down here in the mines. It can often be quite easy to pick up a few more people than is reasonable inside a mosh pit, and it can certainly turn the fight around, especially with how swingy this map is. One good mosh pit can just end a game.
Oh yeah. I mean, there is only two melee heroes for the side of Mouse Control. That Uther and Stitches, and Uther won't necessarily want to be too up and close. But he'll be able to cleanse himself and run forwards and get off those Divine Storms if he needs to.
Right, and the ETC is running in. He manages to catch two in the mosh pit. They're both taking damage from the Starfall as well, but he's managed to be stunned out by the Vala. And the Ancestral goes down on him, but no, the Malfurion falls. He was just taking too much damage. It looks like Stitches is going to fall as well, but no, massive heals on him, and the ETC goes down. Black Drake on the Tyrande is just stuck. And they managed to get away. Fantastic hook there by Razalat. Pulls hammer back. Not getting away from this now. That is 4 dead, and they're going to be able to clean up this, and that will be a massive golem for them. 76 for 24.
Yeah. By Malfurion Falls, you meant Muradin. The heals coming out. Yeah, you said Malfurion. It's very confusing, but that Tranquility, I heard it go off, and then I watched it just keep the entire team in Mouse Control so healthy during that entire fight. That was a huge Tranquility there, and I'm actually going to look at the healing stats here. We see 17,000 out of Malfurion, despite having a fantastic ancestral healing of that ETC out by the Rogar.
That is rare to see a support that's part of a 2-support combo out-healing the solo support on the other team.
Oh yeah. But as we mentioned earlier, with Malfurion and his huge amount of healing possibility, he is the one who will do it. Either that,
the hammer gets hooked again and taken out immediately. He has been on point with these, shutting the hammer down whenever he can.
As I mentioned a couple times, Razalat Stitches is just too scary to even let him get it. I think it may have to be a respect ban in the future for any of the next matches that come up.
Quite possibly. This is going to make defending against this golem very, very difficult for the time being until that hammer is able to come back and join the fight again.
Only Siege Giants defending the golem up top, but it is falling at about the same rate as the much bigger golem down bottom, a little bit quicker now.
If they were to drop a mule on it as well, that wouldn't get too much damage on that keep. But it looks like they are concentrating on this fight because they managed to get a pick up on the Tyrande. She just gets blown up there.
She was there, and then suddenly she wasn't.
Indeed.
A huge amount of burst DPS coming out of the Jaina.
Really kind of just shut somebody down immediately when they get a little bit too overconfident, a little bit further forward than they should be, and this keeps easily going to go down. The boss still has a lot of health. They might be able to just push this onto the core.
See the multi-shot build coming out of Vala, such as taking Putrid Bile. Preemptive Tranquility there.
Alright, the Starfall goes down. It's hitting a lot of people, doing a lot of damage. But is it enough? The Mosh Pit only managed to catch the Malfurion. The Tranquility goes down. Nobody is taking any damage. And it looks like they're going to manage the ETC as well. He is not in a good place. Tyrande falls from that amazing Divine Storm. Once again, Razalat will not let Hammer rest. Not giving her a break. And the core is going to fall. And that will be Game 2 victory to Mouse Control.
Taking this best of 3 series in the lower bracket semi-final, they will advance to the lower bracket finals versus Team Immortals, and yeah, get to see more of their play.
I look forward to that, absolutely.
I said a little bit of a preemptive Tranquility there after the Malfurion, but he popped it and then got mosh pitted, so it just kept him alive and it kept the rest of his team able to do whatever they needed to. I mean, it wasn't preemptive as it turned out; it was defensive. In a way that it allowed the rest of his team to be really aggressive. It's very well played.
But although it wasn't healing up the damage people have been dealt, their health just wasn't dropping from maximum. They were just sat at full as they were just moving forward, taking down everyone that they came through. Fantastic.
Dominating performance from Mouse Control. Decima, unfortunately, knocked out of the tournament, but hopefully we'll see you in the next tournament. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.